Hello, and welcome to the Born Lippy Summer Streets Festival 2021 Youth Slam events, poetry events. Thanks for coming along to all the audience in the house. Okay, can we have a cheer to prove that there is actually people here? Yeah, here we are in the amazing world of actual in-room entertainment in a brand new venue, Pop Rec. An epic space that has just opened, the very first time it's ever been used, and here we are. And for all the people at home, can we hear a big loud cheer? Okay, I can hear the deafening silence from the stream, but anyway, this is being streamed to out there just to kind of give us a feel so that we can get the people outside there participating out into cyberspace, also with the people in the room. We're just going to give you some ideas of how you can participate in this today's event. This is going to be a splendid spoken word event. Was billed as a poetry slam. Poetry slams is a kind of a scheme that came up in Detroit in the 1980s as a way of making poetry interesting and accessible by making it competitive. Unfortunately, because of like not having enough young people, probably because of the times that we're in at this moment now, who are up for performing and competing against each other, today is going to be a young person's showcase event. So we're going to see a variety of diverse poets who are all kind of under the age of 24. So it's going to be a really interesting act, and I'll go through the lineup in a minute. But get everybody involved and feeling like they're part of the event. So if you really like something that's on there, so maybe a wordsmith says something that you really like, there are different ways that you can kind of participate. We have the good old cheer, so let's kind of get. So if you just heard a really amazing poet, I want to hear a good cheer. We're going to go from 1 right up to 10. So we'll start off at a 1. Yeah! Oh, that's definitely a 1, yeah. So we're going to go, rather than like, so I'll give you a 2, 3, 4, we're just going to go straight from a 0 all the way up to 10 and 1. And I'm going to use my hand to kind of gesture in there, okay? So I want to hear applause, I want to hear cheers, I want to hear that you've just seen the most amazing act in the world. Let's give it. So let's start with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10! Yes, okay. Now, if you see you hear a particular word or phrase or something that resonates with you through the event, you might not want to kind of, applaud right at the end, whatever you might want to do it. So there's things that you can do. You can finger click, like they did in the sort of jazz clubs of the 1920s. And also, if you want to, you can do a kind of hand gesture if you really want to do that. Just as a way that you might distress somebody out and think that, you're in crisis, it's an SOS. They might jump off the stage, break their legs, because it is a fall. It's a long way down from this stage to help you, so maybe don't do that one. But yes, anyway, we are going to go into a splendid lineup. We have performers from across town and Weir. First up in a second, we're going to have Pappy, followed by Isabella Wharton-Brown, Ethan Gordon, Tamina Ollie, and rounding out with our special guest today, Rowan McCabe. So my name's Donald Jenkins. I run this event, Born Lippy. We're kind of celebration of all things wordy, putting on events for the last 3 years, and this is an opportunity to showcase stuff. One of the things, though, that we've been really worried about in the last year, in the last 15 months, as I'm sure everybody is, about the future of the arts in general. Venues are kind of like the lifeline, really, of performers. Doesn't matter which artistic discipline that they are, is a place where they can showcase their work. And the concern is that over the last year, with them being closed to the general public, some of these venues may not reopen again. And it's just really important that we invest, like here in Sunderland. This is just one of several new venues that are just opening or have opened. We're going to be doing an event on Monday at Carnival House in Southwick. Brand new space, whatever, but it's really important that we support these venues, which are just startups, they're kind of starting up fresh, that we come in and we invest them. Other venues that have been closed have things like crowdfunder pages, have other ways that you can support them, buying merch, supporting the artists who perform there. So do go out there and invest of it. So it's one of those things that I thought about a lot in lockdown, about like what the future of arts was, whilst I was in solitude, as many of us were. So just wanted to start off with a little poem about that. It's a place of unique vantage points. Set the scene, breathe the scene. Expectations are challenged, where imaginations undress, flaunt their truths for public appraisal, and we become enamored by spectacles. Proof that there's other ways of living if we're willing to choose art, if we're willing to give into its charm, and willing to dig in our pockets and start by giving our cash, start by giving starting a cause that starts long before the curtain is raised, long before speeches are made, long before actors enter the stage right before that. The space is charged with concepts cultivated underground, pruned by architects of light and sound, grown by promoters, spurred on by promoters who haggled with agents over every last pound, liaising with artists, presenting a lineup shared with excitement that made you say, wow. The flyer designer that enticed you with images, invited you for a night on the town. Let's not also forget the singers, actors, poets, stand-up, and improv, because this is their plot, their sanctuary, an outlet to vent their story, where they boast of their craft, harnessing a crowd to lose control to soul-defining moments. And we clap. But is it too late? Let's not also make the same mistake at this place where eardrums are embraced by a luscious hum, where we articulate shapes on sprung floors made for sliding steps, bouncing around to breaks mounted on bass clefs, where camaraderie is forged on cozy corridors, cooling off mates, wasted with sweat. Proof that there's other ways of living if we're willing to choose music, if we're willing to give into its rhythms and groove it, and willing to dig in our pocket and start by buying a ticket, start by supporting a cause that starts long before the club door opens, long before DJs pick what record is chosen, long before bands stroll onto the stage right before that. The space is charged with choruses flourished underground, yielded by architects of light and sound, grown on by club owners, spurred on by promoters who haggled with agents over every last pound, liaising with artists, shared with excitement that made you say, wow. The flyer designer who enticed you with images, invited you for a night on the town. Let's not also forget the singers, rappers, traditional musicians, electronic producers, and DJs. This is their wall of graffiti. They're framed to create expression, where they unite tribes in the live with vibes that breed connection. And we smile. But is it too late? Let's not also make the same mistake at this place. 2 seconds there. As we, I'm going to move on. Anyway, thank you very much. That has been done. It's a stressful day. And plenty of coffee is riding through my mind at this moment in time, and the words are just starting to blur up there. We had a nice little. It sounded really good in the dress rehearsal, but now obviously I've just stumbled on the real thing when it comes on. So anyway, we're going to bring on our first act onto the stage. I'm looking over there, and first performer is Isabella Wharton-Brown, person who is a young performer. And she has basically been for the drama background and been sort of wowing people at our school up in Walker. We've personally been working with her sister to develop sort of poetry projects, but she's somebody I'm really looking forward to her set. So without further ado, let's give it up for Isabella Wharton-Brown.
The first one I'm going to do, I wrote a year ago, like pretty much around this time last year, and I thought that it wouldn't last very long because this crazy thing that's going on would be over within a few months, surely, but it's still relevant now, so I'm going to do that one. Okay. When this is all over, you ask me what I want to do, but how can I respond to you when this will never be truly over? I will carry this moment with me when I truly felt I was living history, a moment of time frozen for months. When we couldn't leave, but we all breathed for once in our lives, we didn't have to comply with this endless cycle of do or die, and we could just be alive. And our thoughts ran free and decided that society isn't what it should be, when because of their skin, a black person is treated differently to me, and the world couldn't breathe because we filled the sky with this hazy smog and we all lived in this endless fog of work and eat and sleep and consume. Want, 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 need, 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 as the planet we bleed dry, and the animals begin to die. And then, like a miracle, it came and locked us all inside, and made us realize we're all the same. That they just want love and happiness, the same as you. So when this is all over, don't forget how we were more together when we were apart than we have been in years. And maybe all the tears we shed will water a garden for the future generation where we can finally live in a nation of peace. When this is all over, can you stop starving our youth? Can you tell them the truth that Black Lives Matter and it's okay to be fatter than that model, and the earth is worth our care, and we all share things in common? When this is all over, can you start to teach that love and kindness is more important than physics and equations? When this is all over, I want to give everyone a hug and tell them they are worthy of love, no matter their thigh gap. Can you get rid of the pay gap when this is all over? When this is all over, can you stop hiding under covers and face the light of day and say that we all deserve to live? Can you give us back our future when this is all over? The next one I'm going to do, in my English lessons, I like to sit and write poems in the back of my book because I tend to do the work while they're still explaining it. So I've written quite a lot of poems in the back of my book, and this is one that I wrote in the back of my book while we were studying poetry at school, which is very inspiring to hear other people's poems. So this is called Precious Child. Precious child, see here where the golden light does flow from the face of the sun. Laid in his cradle, tiny fist curled to tiny ball, shoved whole in toothless mouth, like beaming ribbon flows to smile and laugh, to reach the bright blue eyes and send a twinkling lights the room. More contagious than the worst disease, and more deadly too. For you shall give your life for him, to lie and corrupt your heart, to lie as it turns black and say it's for the best. And you believe, for you are blinded by your love for him. And minds made up and minds made one, and golden curl wrapped up in tiny fist who tugs, innocent minds blackened too. And all the world handed to him on a silver platter. So now he thinks he owns it all. Your knife no longer yours but his. And the mother says, he could never hurt anyone. Precious child is now a man. He could never hurt anyone. Grasping others' lives and twist them up. He could never hurt anyone. Yet here he stands. The shattered shards of others' lives lay broken at his feet. I've got one more that I've actually learned, and then I don't know if I'll have more time, so I have a notebook there, but this is another one that I've actually learned. We're doing power and conflict at school, and just wrote it. Just gonna do it. Here lies the body of Edward Smith, son, brother, friend. Here lies the body of Edward Smith, in war he meets his end. And the light snuffed out by 1,000 bullets shot straight through his soul, and the light snuffed out by the death of 100 lying in the cold. And once where cheeks were rosy, flushed with the joy of youth, scratched away to pale bone, eaten by the truth. So here lies the body of Edward Smith, returned with all his limbs. Here lies the body of Edward Smith, but mind shattered by his sins. And the guns and the fight will not escape his mind. In the guns and the fight, no relief he will find. And the hot blood on the cold ground, and the loud bangs but faded sound, when his hands shake and his eyes cloud of his murder, he cannot be proud. And the flash, and the flash, and the stupid and the brash, called the brave, we're the brave, and this country we will save. But his cold life trickles through like sand, and the cold knife he's holding in his hand, and the white wrists run red with blood, and in the end there is no bad or good. For whatever the reason, death isn't taken well. A valiant reason, yet in your mind you dwell. So here lies the body of Edward Smith. His mind never did come back. Here lies the body of Edward Smith, and the marble under which he lies is charred and it is black. Here lies the body of Edward Smith, son, brother, friend. Here lies the body of Edward Smith. In a mind's war, he meets his end. Okay. Right, what time is it? Okay, I'll do this one. This is a bit, this was written on the 7th of October 2020. I've actually dated this one, which is very unusual. And I was a bit fed up with lockdown and the world. So this is called Drifting. My mind isn't really here. It never usually is, but it's not usually quite so far away. It's so easy for the consciousness to drift away when there's nothing to hold it here. Can somebody please catch my hand? Pull me back? No, of course. You have to stay 2 meters away. Silly of me to think you'd risk anything for me. And my eyes are unseeing, yet everything can still be seen. I've been staring at this room for a long time. It doesn't really matter anyway. It's only paper thin, this body so easily destroyed. What's one more threat? I'm still alive, but am I living? Trading it away piece by piece so that others can survive. I've been doing it my whole life, but it's usually just my fault. I used to willingly pour my life away into yours. Here is my happiness. Please take it. You need it more. And when I finally learn that it is okay to keep it for myself, to live for me and not for others, to stop trading my life away for yours, I am forced to do it anyway. So yes, my mind isn't really here, and that's okay, because what's good here? Why should I want to stay? What's to keep me from floating far away? My consciousness is drifting because there's nothing to hold it. What's wrong with losing focus on an image that's so awful? Time has blurred here, then ceased to exist entirely. So in this land of nothingness, what is there to hold me? So let me drift. I'm not missing anything. And when choosing this and that, I think I'll choose drifting. Okay. So stop now? One more, okay. Right. I'll put this down. This is another one that I wrote in the back of my book. I was getting a bit fed up with the curriculum because, yeah, it's not great. So this is from the point of view of others in my school who just don't get given the right support. Why should I care? I don't understand all these numbers and letters taught to me by what is known as my betters in rambling words that mean nothing to me. They tell me the meaning and assume that I'm seeing, but I still don't become what they want me to be. And why should I care? These mind-numbing subjects are rotting my brain with facts regurgitated again and again. They are forcing down paragraphs I don't have a clue. They're shouting and shouting I'm not understanding. Do my empty eyes say nothing to you? And why should I care? You clearly don't, as my questions and queries just lead to a series of anger that I'm not getting it. You think that I'm worthless, and now you think it's on purpose, and now I am worthless because my mind can't process this shit. And why should I care? I am poor when you have everything in excess and you assume that I am automatically worth less. You have no understanding of my world and I have none of yours. So of course I just seem like an insolent girl. And why should I care? When you seem so far away from my troubles, sitting in London in posh Eton bubbles, starving and stealing from people like me, so I scream and I shout but you just drown me out. I am young and you have forgotten what it is to be a teen. And you don't care. So why should I care? Why should I care?
Let's give it a face of Bella Wharton Brown! Yes, hopefully amazing performance there, just to warm me up. The person who's maybe going on next has just entered the room. Can you give us a thumbs up if you're up for going on the stage in like 30 seconds? No, maybe not. Anyway, that was like an in-joke for the people in the venue. We forget, out there in cyberspace, there's lots of people watching us on different platforms, as they call them nowadays. So hello to all the people at platforms. Can we give a wave to all the people on the platforms? Hello. Only that they'll only be able to see me anyway, but you know. But anyway, so I know there's obviously a young person's event, and unless, well, there's changes afoot that possibly the 12 to 15-year-olds may need to get the jab, but there is people, most of the people I would imagine, have just a show of hands of who's being jabbed. Single jabbers out there? Double jab posse? 2 jags, as they call them in Scotland? 2 jogs, Paul, 2 jogs. So, just going to have a quick show of hands here. We've got any Pfizers out there? Any Pfizer crew? Oh, AstraZeneca? Hey. Any Moderna? Well, hey, okay, we've got one. Oh, that's a new. So what I'm going to do is, next time a performer comes on, obviously I want you to applaud them and I want you to give them lots of kudos for doing that. But I also want to give you some variants, possibly not the right use of the word at the moment. It's got a bit of a dodgy connotation, hasn't it? Let's think about the variants. Okay, so there's a different dance associated with each and every jab out there. So you don't know what they are. All right, well, I'm going to spend the time now just to let you know. So if you're an AstraZeneca person like me, if you hear something, you go, AstraZeneca, 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 AstraZeneca. I feel a bit like a one-man person here just doing this. You're like, I saw you say AstraZeneca before, so I'm hoping that you're going to join in. So let's have another go. AstraZeneca, AstraZeneca. Okay, cool. Now a popular one, for those who I know there's quite a few Pfizer posse inside, is Pfizer, 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 Pfizer. That one's definitely got more sass to it, so yeah. So let's have a show of that for all the Pfizers out there. Pfizer, 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 Pfizer. And for the one Modena in the room, Modena. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, that's just the sound person. That's just the soundman Sai who's on there, so he can sit there on the desk and do his jazz hands. So anyway, we're going to have an act on in just a minute. Are you ready to go? You are, okay. Well, the next person is an amazing performer who I've seen several times before, has been doing some great work for City of Dreams, which is an initiative in Newcastle for highlighting and bringing together kind of young people's say within how the arts are run within Newcastle and Gateshead, and making sure that young people have more can shape what kind of like the experience is like for going to museums, going to live venues. And they're somebody who studied performance themselves, working in kind of creating and acting as well. But when they've kind of approached spoken word, it's really what's like really blown me away. I haven't seen them for a while, really looking forward to it. If anything, last time I've go by, I think you're in for a retreat. So let's give it up for Pappy!
How we doing? Yeah, we're good. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. It's been obviously it's been a difficult time for all of us, different situations. But I kind of haven't written anything new in a while, so I'm just gonna be doing some of my old stuff. If that's okay with you guys? Yeah, cool. So to start us off with, I'm gonna do one called Turning Point. I wrote this for a theatre called Live Theatre down by the quayside. I don't know if you heard about it, but yeah. So here we go. Let's see what happens. We were naive. We believed what we knew not to be true. How could the world be a better place if there's nothing but space between us? We were sheep. We followed where they led. We asked no questions. We gave no answers. We were traitors. We turned our backs on one another. We refused to pick our loved ones up from the ground. We were liars. We said it was to keep them safe. We said we had no other options. We said we didn't want anything bad to happen to them. We were cold and heartless. We only looked out for ourselves. We were warriors. We fought for what was right. We fought so we could go home to a better world. We wanted a better world. We were leaders. We led rebellions and guided each other through tough times. We needed help and people gave it. We were vigilant. We looked out for one another. We made sure everyone was safe. We were honorable. We closed deals with a shake of the hand. We were thoughtful. We made sure they had what they needed. We lent a helping hand when it was needed. We were caring. We came together during tough times. We embraced each other. We were human. Funny thing was that I wrote this poem before COVID-19, but most of these things ended up coming about, so like, whoopsie daisy. But yeah, let's see what else we got. Okay, so this is another poem. It's a kind of a personal poem, but I wrote it for a workshop. I was like co-anchoring for for an event back in 2018. It's called Ode to My Body. I've been told the body is not an apology, yet I cannot help but say a few words. To my blackness, they say you don't crack. Let's prove them right. To my feet, where would I be without you? Literally. Although at times I might take you for granted, I need you to know that I wouldn't be here where I am without you, literally. And where else would a 20-something aspiring poet/actor end up but in a room filled with possibilities? To my kneecaps, you may not be a golden medal gymnast, but you do your job. To my ears, well done. I don't know what else to say. I don't give you near as much credit as you deserve. Somehow you manage to retain your form even though they wish to disintegrate you with their words. To my tongue, you were so sharp and at the ready. I do not blame you for losing your touch. I blame them. For years they wanted to tame you, and I guess they did. To my heart, there are many secrets I keep from you. I say it's for your own good, but to be honest, it's for my own well-being. I know for fine well, if I told you how we really feel about her, then to my eyes, we've been through a lot together. You've seen many things, most of them we cannot begin to decode, even given 1,000 lifetimes, but the little things, the ones that really matter, we see them always. To my skin, they will stick labels onto you regardless of given permission. I have attempted to rip them off, but they just left scars. To my scars, you tell the story of how we got here. To my back, they say I don't crack, they say I crack, but I swear I can hear the ringing of a cracked whip ever so often. To my hands, I trust you. I know you will be there for me when I fall. To my spine, most days I feel as though you are the only thing keeping the shell of a body from crumbling. To my brain, I understand you are the smart one. Out of all of the others, you are the only one who managed to name yourself. That's pretty damn impressive. That is also why I understand out of all of the others, you are the only one afraid of dying. To my voice, the listening. Now say something worth remembering. I'm not gonna lie. How much time do I have? Plenty of time. Okay. Let's see if I got plenty of poems. You guys still good? Yeah? I'm trying to find a lively poem, but they're all kind of depressing. Yeah. Okay. This one's a little got a little more rhymes in it, so I might be able to pick up. It's called What's Left. I see black skin, I see white skin, I see brown skin, I see left out in the sun, photo long skin, I see my skin, I see your skin, I see history and mystery inside our skin, I see ripped skin, I see torn skin, I see old skin, I see skin, I see, I see, I see the youth without the truth, growing up without the roots, being expected to fix this mess that's a hex, wrongful termination from the older generation who tells us we're doing it wrong. As if there were a manual to tell the truth. I couldn't stand them all, telling us about their shadows, telling us about their nukes here. Hold my avocado whilst I read this wall book. Nothing but this band, you see, I see there's nothing here to see. This planet's a wasteland covered in famine and drought. There's no way out, there's no way up, there's no way down. Time is up, it's turned around, it's had enough. She's had enough, she's sick of us on her back. Her energy has given out, the skin is starting to tear and fall into herself. Soon there'll be nothing. Soon there'll be no space for us here where there's an abundance of land here on planet Earth. So now I remember I wrote this obviously back when Trump was president. And obviously the whole Greta Thunberg, all that situation, so that's where this came from. Cool, what else we got? I got a, no. So, as I graduated back in 2019, and we had this like little get together, and we all like did different performances, and I wrote a poem for them, but it kind of goes to everyone, really. So yeah, this is Here's to Us. Here's to the class of 2019. It may have taken some time, it may have taken some of us longer, and it may have been quite the struggle of times, but we all got there at the end. Every single one of us. Here's to those who didn't see it through. Here's to those who couldn't see it through. May they be well wherever they are, living their lives as much as they can, living their lives as best as they can, living their lives they're living with us in their heart, with us in their heart, and our hearts they live in forever and ever, forever they live, forever entombed within our memories. Here's to them, for they are here with us forever. Wherever they are, here's to our part we played in their lives. Here's to their part they played in ours. Here's to my part I play in yours. Here's to our part. Here's to our now. Here's to our future. Here's to who we are. Here's to who we are, and here's to who we are yet to become, from all that which we learned, from all those who lived, who have crossed our paths, and from all those who are yet to do so. Here's to them, here's to us, here's to the late night essay writers, the done it 1 month prior writers, the done it in 50-minute writers, the last-minute hand-inners, the essay planners, the late-nighters, the improvisers, the alcoholics, the storytellers, the mead lovers. Here's to us. May we meet again somewhere down the path. And for those unsure of what or where that is next, like me, you know that a great bear once said, I always get to where I'm going by walking away from where I've been. So whilst you walk away with a degree in your hand, know that you are not lost, merely heading in the right direction in what might be a fog-like weather. And if ever in doubt, just take a moment and remember us, the creme of the creme, the bossy boots, the inseparables, the laid backers and the anti-slackers. Here's to our future, may it all work out well. Nay, here's to our future, it will work out well. Here's to the class of 2019, here's to us. Cool. Still got more? One thing, I should have prepared a little bit more, but I was kind of like in a rush. I just finished work like 30 minutes ago, so probably couldn't tell, could you? Just so smooth, so smooth, so smooth. Lol. I swear I had more poems, but. Okay. So this one is called My Mask. Yeah, it's after another poet called Pebble. Okay. So this is how I remember it. I crawled out of my bed and I dragged my body out under from the cover. I hauled it across the room. Have to take that thing everywhere with me these days. Went into the bathroom, looked into the mirror, and it was there, gawking right at me with its vacant eyes, staring deep within my soul, as it is every morning. Some people I know wanted to go out that night, so I went out. I remember that part, for drinks. One drink, that turned to two, that turned to 4, which led to dancing, and I can't really remember the rest. Or maybe I'm just lying, or maybe I remember to forget, or maybe I forgot what I regret. Then I remember looking for my keys, then my phone, then my wallet, and then it was gone. I remember thinking I must have dropped it again. After 1 or 2, it tends to start to slip away, you know. Maybe it was at the bar or the club. Did I drop it outside? No, I would have remembered that. I remembered having it on before the shots, or was it the pictures? It was definitely on before I learned how to express myself. To be honest, that should have been my first clue. Then there was that smile on my face. I mean, I didn't put her there. She did. Legs for days, a body like an hourglass, maybe because she was a glass filled with whiskey, then vodka, bad mix, but boy did I drink her dry, so dry I couldn't feel the open space on my face, tear rolling down my cheek, looked everywhere. I couldn't find my mask. Must have gotten stuck under a rock, or must have run off with my anxiety again. When morning came and the last drop of alcohol vacated my body, I could feel my face becoming moist once more, my mouth tightening up, my mask reattaching itself. Welcome home. Give it 2 minutes, 1 second. Just checking me notes. Okay. So I'm not actually quite sure when I wrote this. Would have been long time ago, but we were just given some pictures and we had to come up with a poem for it. So I got a picture of this mountain climber. So I creatively called my poem The Climb. Yes, I'm clever, thank you. So it's kind of gory, but it's apparently how I like to write, apparently. Okay, so The Climb. When balance is the only thing you have to cling on to, what is life for? The climb was high but necessary. The climb was tough but well thought out. Balance was essential. It was the only thing left to cling on to. The winds were rough. The winds were mean. It was tough but I was keen. Grappling at the ledge, can't look down. Nothing but mountains, no one around. Screaming is cathartic. I can still hear them go. Heart beating, palms sweating, heads throbbing, grounds are wetting. When escape is the only thing you know, who will miss you when you go? I could feel a space around me shrink inch by inch, the sound of bullets ricketeering through the damp, cold air was ringing in my ear. I could smell fear, sweat and hatred around me, my neighbors, friends, and blood laid on the floor. All I could think was escape. Truth be told, I don't remember much about the journey up, only the sight of looking down there from which I came. Men, women, daughter, son, running, laughing, where those to blame? Cool. Thank you very much. I've been Pappy. You've been great. Cheers.
Let's give it up for Pappy! Splendid performance there. Ooh. Dead small all of a sudden. Yes, anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. For everyone out there, this is the Summer Streets Festival 2021, Born Lippy Youth Showcase. We've had some great acts on so far. If you're not aware about what the Summer Streets Festival is, it's basically a festival that happens across a multitude of venues across this weekend, stuff happening tomorrow and on Monday. Do check out the Summer Streets website for full kind of details, but some amazing workshops, bands, and in this very venue itself, we've got like a beatboxing workshop happening here tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock and performance. Great, led by a female boxer, so really worth checking out and just to support that in this great space. I'm going to bring to the stage our next act in just 1 second, who basically got involved in, was a member of a cuckoo writing group, which is basically something that's run by New Writing North, which are an organisation that supports writers across the north, obviously. But they run a variety of young writers groups in libraries. And up in Amble in Northumberland, they got involved in a workshop working with Rowan McCabe, who is going to be on later on as our kind of special guest. And they've then gone off to do creative writing at university in Lincoln. So really looking forward to see their stuff. But let's give it up for Ethan Gordon!
So do bear with me. I'll just get up. Also, the first line of this was true when it was written. I dressed gay today. A sweater French tucked into jeans you better believe I had cuffed. Flannel in the middle of summer. Sleeves rolled up to show off my tattoos, but a beanie to cover my haircut because grandma doesn't know yet. My mother complains that I can't give a straight answer when she asks if I'm seeing anyone. One time, a cashier told me she liked my style. I was wearing a button-up and a bow tie. Gave her finger guns in reply. I told her I liked her hair. It was purple. See, we have codes to talk to each other. I've created so many signals that might reach someone's gaydar in the hope that we never have to make the first move. We have secret languages.
Things that if you don't understand, I'm not going to explain to you. Like, I don't listen to Girl in Red, but I listen to Girl in Red. My hands don't know how to stay still when I talk, and I have never sat on a chair with 2 feet on the floor in my life. We've all spent too much time staring at Danny Phantom and the Hex Girls from Scooby-Doo. I refuse to believe I'm the only person who had a crush on a cartoon character. We've all taken a turn Googling, am I fill in the blank? Spoiler alert, if you're asking, the answer is probably yes. We have different colors to wrap ourselves in. In the 70s, it was bandanas in back pockets. In the 60s, the American Naval Investigative Service launched a manhunt for Dorothy. In the 60s, the American Naval Investigative Service launched a manhunt for Dorothy because they believed that one woman was the friend of every gay man in the service. In the 1800s, ladies used fans to flirt, and since 600 BC, girls have sent each other violets as a way of saying, I love you. We've always been a little too afraid to say it out loud. We know what could happen if the wrong person hears. We've all heard the horror stories, been told to be careful about who we let hold our hearts, been told to throw away our flags before getting the train home. But we will keep telling each other, even if you can't hear us. The other day, I went to a friend and I told them that I was sad. And they misunderstood. They thought I was asking them to fix it. They thought I was asking them to make it better. I wasn't. I was asking them to sit in my darkness with me. I was asking them to take my bad day and make it a bad day with a cheeseburger. You should know that the worst thing you can do to me is tell me that there's nothing wrong. I know that there is. I'm not angry at that. If you were to look hard enough at yourself, you would find something wrong too. That's the nature of being human. We break ourselves apart just to put ourselves back together in a vain attempt to look the way we think we should look. Like a child putting together a dummy without being able to read the instructions. And sometimes we cut too deep, only to lose ourselves in the pieces we tear away. People are dying to fit inside of the lines, because from before we can even hold a pencil, we're told to color inside of the lines. And to color with the right colors. The grass must be green, the snow must be white, the roses are red, and you are pink, so put down the blue pencil. This next one's a little shorter, and I did write it when I was stoned. It's called Good Old Days. Do you remember when we were kids? Back when the most pain we'd ever felt was a scraped knee, and kissing it made everything better. We slept engulfed in stuffed animals because we were too afraid to offend any of them. We would watch the raindrops on a window and pretend they were having a race, and we could put a blanket on our shoulders and be a superhero for a day. Getting to lick the bowl after making cookies was the best treat in the world. We believed in making wishes on shooting stars, in fairies that brought us money when our teeth fell out, and in the decisive power of rock, paper, scissors. Do you remember when we were kids and we couldn't wait to be grown up? What the fuck were we thinking? The universe made me from recycled pieces. These atoms are not mine, I'm only borrowing them. It's merely my turn to use them. It made me with pieces left over from stars that tore themselves apart. So of course it is in my nature to be self-destructive. I was created to carry on that legacy. I belong in the night sky where there are no decent people who can dictate how we decorate our galaxies, where there are no gods to witness our sins. I rebuilt myself so often with pieces scavenged from lost and found boxes, stolen personalities from relationships I've left long behind. stockpiles of mistakes and regrets of history that does not belong to me. I am of the damned and the delirious, terrified of my own existence, terrified of the day I will have to justify this existence to whatever saw fit to give me breath. I thought that there was a universe inside of me. It took me too long to realize that cutting into myself was not the way to see it, not the way to see what I was made of. I saw the cascading mess that was me through the lens of a telescope. I stared into a black hole, a universe of cosmic coincidence, and it stared back, daring me to jump. Okay, this last one is essentially my life story, so, okay. It's called She. 0. Congratulations, it's a girl. They knew it would be. They didn't even have a boy's name picked out just in case. What they did have were pretty dresses and pink balloons. 6. It's school picture day. She has braids with little pink hair ties, and in the summer, all the other girls are proudly showing off their school dresses. Hers feels uncomfortable, and she's jealous of the boys in their shorts. One day, a pipe burst in the girls' bathroom. A teacher shepherds them through the boys like it's a place to be ashamed of. Everyone complains about the smell, but she doesn't seem to notice it. 7. Suddenly the other girls don't want to play with boys anymore. Apparently, she's supposed to find them gross, but their games look like more fun. 8. She's at Girl Guides, and it's pamper night. Everyone is so excited to wear makeup for the first time because it makes them feel grown up and pretty, but she's sat alone in a corner with a damp cloth because her face doesn't feel pretty, just sticky. 10. She has the word puberty for the first time. The boys are told that their voices will break and they'll grow hair, while she is told horror stories of pimples and blood and cramps. It isn't fair. You missed the part where they asked what she wanted. 12. She starts to wear baggy clothes to hide her shape. She's grown her hair out because people tell her that girls have long hair, but nobody will tell her why. Other girls like to ask what boy she likes, who she's into, and apparently none of them is the wrong answer. 13. She reads Little Women in English class. Sees herself in the boyish Joe being scolded for wearing male clothes and going on adventures. She asks for a waistcoat for Christmas and borrows one of her dad's ties to wear to a party. She feels amazing. 15, she realizes that girls are just as pretty as boys, even if neither of them make her feel the things that other girls describe. She has no idea what this means, but she thinks it means she's broken. 16, the person in the mirror is unrecognizable to her. She tries cutting away her curves, tucking them in. One day, she puts all of her hair into a beanie. Someone tells her she looks good with a quiff. She feels like she's getting away with something. She wants to try wearing a suit to prom, but her mother is scared she'll be laughed at. 17. She gets an undercut while her parents are away. Hides the rest of her hair under hats. Her whole wardrobe is now for the men's section. She tells herself it's because boys' clothes are more practical. Tells herself the only reason she's wearing sports bras is because they're more comfortable and not because of the flat chest. She tells herself she feels dirty, because there are people telling her she's lying, betraying who she is, and who would want to hide a figure like that anyway? So she forces herself to wear dresses and skirts to school. They look pretty on the hanger, but feel alien on her. 18. He was not expecting to cry when he bound his chest for the first time. And for the first time, he recognized what the mirror was showing him. He walks into school with a shaved head and a flat chest and a new name. And in a moment of drunken confidence, he asks people to use his pronouns, and they say, yes, of course we will. He finds a community of people who understand him. He isn't broken anymore. There was a time in her life where she didn't think she would make it to adulthood. And in a way, She was right. But he did. Thank you. Okay, I'll do another one. It's called Pebble. So, I like my men how I like my coffee. That is nowhere near my fucking vagina. It's going to hurt and make a mess. I'm good, thank you. There was a time when I convinced myself that my affection was attraction so that I could say I felt what other people felt. So I could say I wasn't broken. Don't call me broken. Don't call me unloved, unlovable, unloving. Don't call me a late bloomer. I'm not some inexperienced sapling waiting in the ground for the kind hand who will teach me how to sprout. I'm not waiting for the right person. I can know that I don't like it before I tried it, and contrary to popular belief, your magic dick isn't going to fix me. I like my men how I like my coffee. I don't really care what cup it comes in, just so long as it keeps me warm and hypes me up. I know what love is anyway. I can feel it without feeling your skin under my fingertips. I can see it in the way we take care of each other, and in smiles that reach eyes, both of which can be seen with clothes on. I've learned that love and touch can exist separately. I may have nothing to offer Aphrodite, and I may have no place in a sex ed class, but I still have a place, and there are other gods to pray to, other reasons to call out their names. Side note, I say sex ed class the same way that Dolores Umbridge says Defense Against the Dark Arts, in that it doesn't prepare anybody for the real world, and the first thing taught is to put your wands away. I like my men how I like my coffee. My friends have answered strong, hot, dark, rich, sweet. She prefers tea in her. I like my men how I like my coffee. I know it's bad for my heart, but I have a small addiction. Thank you.
Let's give it up for Ethan Gordon! Hey, that was splendid. Ooh, I'm dead loud. Oh, that is just a bit too loud. Ooh, I know I like the sound of my own voice, but hey, you know, that's taken a little bit too far. It's like I can hear my voice in my head, like no. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in to the Summer Street Slam Youth Showcase event. We've had some great performers on. What we haven't told the two younger performers, that's Ethan, who's just been on, and Isabella, is that we were going to have a sort of slam event, and there would have been prizes and people would have competed. So we're just going to say that just offer you both like paid sets at Born Lippy as part of our autumn season. So it'll be good to have you on. We're going to take a little break here. Because it is damn hot in here. I'm sure wherever you are watching it is, you're probably enjoying the sunshine as well, so everybody can have a chance to stretch their legs. We'll be back soon with Rowan McCabe and Tamina Ali!
Tell me about your life. My dad's not around and my mom's a midwife. Empty potential leaves an empty mind, reminded by the tidings that you left behind. It's our science to be honest. It's our science to keep a promise. It's our science, not a contest. It's not science. It's our science. time next year everything will have changed, 'cause nothing ever stays the same. It's our science to be honest. It's our science to keep a promise. It's our science, not a contest. It's not science, it's our science. Chemistry, biology, toxic misogyny, still haven't had a single apology. Chemistry, biology, toxic misogyny, still haven't had a single apology. Chemistry, biology, toxic misogyny, still haven't had a single apology. Chemistry, biology, toxic misogyny, still haven't had a single apology. Chemistry, biology, toxic misogyny, still haven't had a single apology. Chemistry, biology, toxic misogyny, still haven't had a single apology. Stop waiting by a stupid apology. It's our science Try dressing up as a different girl. Try doing my hair in those little curls before I realized it's you, it's not me. God, I'm only 23. I'm so bored of you, baby. Bored of this somebody or shit, maybe. So you know, go to the club, watch nobody look when you're bored. But I'm so bored, baby. So I'm so I'm so I'm so bored of you, baby. Bored of this somebody or shit, baby. Here we go. So you know, go to the bar with the watch on a violin when you're bored. But I'm so bored, baby. Call the bomb drips off of my lips. Tell me, does it taste like this with your other girls? His nicotine stained fingers always seem to linger around my hips. And the shots get blown where the windows go, where you can look but you can't touch. No, 'cause I'm too much for you to handle. Do you understand, though? Have I made myself clear enough? Hot goes summer, 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 hot goes so. Hot goes summer, 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 hot goes so. He goes drinking with the boys to find himself a toy to play with when he's bored. Or does he think he's on my mind? 'Cause then he does this all the time. I find another one to rock my world, yeah. And I love to get down to the music in town, but try to pray he becomes the pretty type. Or did he think that I would cry, fall down and die while I'm vicious with my own agenda? Hot goes summer, 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 hot goes so. Hot goes summer, 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 hot goes so. Well, I know that he loves me, 'cause his texts say it's true. But when it comes face to face, boy, well, I ain't got a clue. So without due respect, my man, you did all you could. Now the dice in my hand, and my God, it feels good. Hot goes summer, 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 hot goes so. Hot goes summer, 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 hot goes so. friends. The big bang shop I got hand. The boomer generation have my life plan. I'm holding on, but the silence is done. Oh, fight on, fight on, fight on, fight on, fight on. The judge finds he didn't do the crime. His face fits so he'll do the time. And he is locked away as his sanity fades. Oh, the white lines, they're my second nature. I'm not your sister and you're not my savior. So don't you waste your time saving a lunatic's mind. Oh, the big bang shop I got time. The boomer generation have my life plan. And I'm holding on, but the silence is done. Oh, fight on, fight on, fight on, fight on. No, 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 no. TV screen is like my Bible. It might sound blasphemous, but did you see the episode where his brains explode? And politics, it don't mean shit to me, 'cause I'm too young to know what all that means. No, none of it matters until your freedom shatters. The big bang shop I got time. The boomer generation have my life plan. And I'm holding on, but the silence is done. Oh, fight on, fight on, fight on, fight on, fight
Bring back to your stage your host for the second half, Bonald Jenkins. I think I called myself Bonald there. Hello, I'm Bonald. Hi. So yeah, anyway, we have an amazing show so far of some young wordsmiths here as part of the Summer Streets Festival 2021 Born Lippy showcase. We've got some great acts just coming up as well. So thanks for tuning in, everybody out there on Facebook and all that. Hiya. I'm Donald Jenkins, and we're going to go straight into that. And we've next performers, somebody I've known since she was a young person. She still is a young person, but she was a young person involved in a youth project I worked with briefly, and she's gone on to become an amazing young entrepreneur, a young mother, and also a great poet who politicised, and is going to be playing the first of her 2 spoken word sets here today. You've got the first instalment. She's off to jet-setting off to Alphabeti Theatre later on today as part of a kind of international spoken word event as well. So if you're in Newcastle, do go and check that out. But without further ado, let's give it up for Tamina Ollie!
That you gave me all. Now I see you with all the girls and it hurts. But what's things more?
It said like 11 o'clock and then it said something else. So we're getting the finale. You
Thank you guys for having me. I'm Tamina. I'm from Newcastle. I'm gutted I couldn't be here to watch the slam, but hopefully I'll be able to catch up online. So this first one, I'm not even going to explain it. I'm sure it'll explain itself. Do you wear it to bed? Is it permanently glued to your head? Does it hurt? Does it get wet? Are you a part of the Taliban? Would you take it off for $1,000? Do you have more than one? How do you put it on? And the list continues. Okay, so no, I don't wear it to bed and it's not permanently glued to my head. In fact, as soon as I get in, I whip it off and wave my hair around like I'm using herbal essences. And yeah, it does hurt, but only when I miss and stick a safety pin in my scalp and it feels like I've punctured my brain. So now I just avoid pins and go for the wrap and tuck turban look. And yeah, it does get on my nerves, but only when I can't get the pleats neat, and that's when it does kind of look like a towel. Now, my favorite one is, I heard someone say you have to wear it all the time, so does that mean you have to wear it in the shower too? Yeah, mate. I wash it with hijab and shoulders, condition for 3 minutes, and exfoliate twice a week. That's how I keep it looking so glossy. Okay, look, I don't mind answering questions about why I wear the hijab, no matter how silly they might sound. So the next time you see a hijabi around, you'll know not to judge because she's got superpowers radiating from that towel head of hers. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay. This next one I'm going to do, something I wrote actually a long time ago, but I haven't actually rehearsed this for ages, so excuse me if it's a bit unpolished. It's called My Life Doesn't Matter, a little bit deeper than the one that I've just done, and it kind of talks about the wars going on in the Middle East. Shatter my bones and scatter my blood, because my life doesn't matter. Invade my home, break my toys in my street, make lots of noise and scare my baby brother. Burn down my schools, hospitals too, shut down the shops and deprive me of food, find me in the streets stood, defenseless, with nothing but a rock. Wait for your cue and shoot. Gone. Silence my screams, cover up the agony I feel when you put me to my knees and make me beg at your feet. You don't let me eat or sleep, let alone dream of being free. You've turned my play yard into a graveyard while you hide behind your bank card, this place that used to safeguard, but now it discards the importance of my life. And the crimes you commit, the lies you spit, this facade you've built to cover up the lives you've killed. And amongst it all, you've stolen my childhood and stored it with broken hearts and tears. Fears and pain consume my ears. All I hear are cries from beneath this rubble where I lie, fighting to survive. And you've taken my rights. And without the right, you've tied shackles to my freedom and buried humanity in its grave. Brave is what they call me because I tackle this life every day, and safe is what I search for as I drag my tired body through the rain. Now, maybe this will go away and maybe I will heal. Maybe I'll wake up and this will all just be a dream. Maybe I'll rest tonight, maybe I'll sleep. Maybe in the end, we will find peace. But for now, all I want is to smile again, smile through my teeth. I no longer want to see people bleeding in the streets. Please, no more bleeding in the streets. And when the storm is over, I wonder if you'll remember me. I'm the one that got very ill. I died without a burial. My blood is the one that forever spills while my body is left for landfill. I'm the one you killed while the world stood still. And there will be no justice until God wills. I am like no other. I am the child of Syria. Thank you. Thanks, guys. The next one is called A Face of Places. I wrote this one when I was doing the BBC Words First programme, the start of lockdown. And you know what, like, ever since I was little, I've always struggled to find the confidence to write about being Geordie or being Bangladeshi. Because, you know, like, we live in a very, what's the word? Like a difficult world where, I don't know, but me growing up, I felt like I wasn't enough of either of them. But recently I found the confidence to write about being British Bangladeshi and being Geordie. So here's A Face of Places. The melanin in my skin wisps you across the waters to the depth of Shinamganj, where earthly spices are rich. The rush of organized chaos, tooting of horns and yelling of insistent grocery traders, one after the other like synchronized swimmers. The air thick and shadowy like the uneven patches around my mouth, and the smells of burning kindling and tinder, the heat. Sun kissing your skin as you cradle in its warmth, watching the sunset behind the farmers in their wheat fields. It casts a haze of red over the acres of swamp water and dried crops until it reaches the melanin in my skin and covers me from head to toe. Glide west along the jet stream, from one home in the northeast to another, where temperatures plummet. The bursting banks of Shurma to the River Tyne, magpies in the sky wearing black and white stripes. The locals here speak Geordie in its truest form. It is the Queen's English. I speak it better than my mother tongue, but some will still claim it's a foreign dialect. And you are a guest in our city, so a tour is obligatory. A trip down the Toon and a fresh Greg's pasty. And when the sun's out, legs and breasts are out to turn red. But I can't blame them. Summer lasts, 3 minutes here? And match days are the best days, when from miles away you can hear them chanting, "How the lads?" And it echoes right through our city. Echoing and echoing into the TARDIS that is my mind, where night and day orbit the pen nib, where realities unravel to clarity onto my paper. An everlasting maze, intertwined with question marks and contradictions, fossils of childhood memories and conversations, the melting pot. The spark that creates fire, the fire that destroys, a dot that expands into infinity, then comes crashing down to devise the magnum opus. And when the dust settles, you find yourself stood behind my camera obscuras, your iris aligned with its viewfinder. So, does everything seem clearer now that you've seen the world from beyond the skin of this brown face? Every hike, flight, climb, and every voyage, every masala chai and steak pie, kulhona ho and movies by Guy, Shawakami sometimes, mostly Air Max and track pants, curries in the kitchen, Jamie Oliver on telly, hijab on my head, sneakers on my feet, Bhangra in the car, and poetry on stage. You see, the melanin in my skin is one shade in the spectrum of the universe within me. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Don, how am I doing for time? 1 or 2 more? 2? 2, okay. Right, okay. I'll do My Beautiful. This one's been quite popular. I've done this one quite a few times, but I love it, they love it, and hopefully you guys will love it too. You simply strip me of my beauty because the skin I'm in doesn't fit in with your expectations of pretty. No matter how chiseled my cheekbones are, or the whiteness of my teeth, or how well my eyes reflect the sunlight and change color with the seasons, you will forever conceal my beauty within the limitations of your ignorance, until I shed my skin so it bleeds its brown, or paint over it with a lighter tone. Only then will you accept my beautiful. No matter my determination to succeed, or my aspirations for the future, or how well spoken I am and the accuracy of my grammar, you will forever compare me to the picture-perfect girl on the magazine cover, who happens to be a few shades lighter. So I'll bleach my skin until I look more like her. Only then will you accept my beautiful. No matter how well I beautify my inner self, you still refuse to recognize the vastness of my intellect and disregard the creativity that floods my veins. No matter how flawless I am, I will always be flawed in your eyes, because my shade of brown isn't light, and you can't, or rather you won't, accept my beautiful. So now listen. I will not learn these teachings you try to teach me, nor will I be intimidated by the labels you've plastered all over my perfectly shaded surface. I will wear the foundation that matches my skin tone, and those colored clothes that complement my complexion, and no, I will not filter my photos to look more like the girl on the magazine cover. I will talk about color, and I'll write about it too, so that every skin-colored girl knows that she's beautiful from the inside through. I'll build an army with every dream you've shattered, and every heart you've broken, and every young girl whose confidence you've taken. You will no longer silence our personalities, tarnish our identities, or expect us to sit back while you judge us unjustly. We will wage war on your labels and conquer your expectations, and we will march the streets in every shade of brown you can imagine, and we will fight. We will fight until we win this losing battle, and we won't settle for anything less, because only then will you accept our beautiful. Thank you. You guys are a canny audience, small but really loud. I love it. I should have added that piece was about a concept called, an issue called colorism. Very similar to racism, but it's something that's very common in my South Asian communities, where if you are of a darker shade of brown, you're then discriminated against for being darker shade and not pretty enough, not beautiful enough. And it is something that I grew up with. And I visited Bangladesh a few years back, and I thought, times had changed, things were different, but it wasn't. I was there for about 2 weeks, and I came back, and then all this fire raging inside me, and then I came up with that piece. So that was my beautiful. The last one I'm going to leave you with is something I wrote for my little girl. I wrote this when I was about 7 months pregnant with her, and I had a feeling I was going to have a girl, and I started feeling really anxious about all the things, that might challenge her when she's born, when she's here, the things she might face growing up, bearing in mind I didn't know I was going to have a girl. But yeah, I thought, I would write this piece for her. It's called Dear Darling. Dear darling, this world, it wasn't built for such a bundle of innocence. Ever since I knew you were coming, I feared how I'd protect you from the dark alleyways and shadowy nights. Frights and fears, tears you might cry, trials you may face, mistakes you may make. I just want to pave a path of perfection and let you walk along it, grow along it. No tricks, no tests, no hurdles or mess. Let life run its course and leave you troubleless. But that's not how it works, and I know I can't harness you forever. I must let you graze your knees and bump your head, because if I don't patch up scuffs or clean up bleeding cuts, your armor won't strengthen, my dove. So I must let you be free. Free to explore and experience this world in all its glory and gloom, sunshines and storms, celebrations and wars. I must let you see it all for yourself one day. But for now, I'll hold you in a place where there are no dark alleyways or shadowy nights, where children don't cry and mothers don't suffer. A place where your innocence is safe. So sleep, my dear child, sleep until your armor is ready and your fire is fierce. So that when you arrive, you'll wear your mother's skin with pride. You won't conform to society's injustice or allow meaningless labels away into your thoughts. They'll tell you don't run before you can walk, don't talk, your voice is better silenced. They'll tell you to let go. But if you want to fly, then spread your wings, my dear child. There are no limits in the sky. Soar and glide, laugh and smile. Smile lots. Sing and dance. Even if they laugh, dance like they're not watching. And among the twinkles, if ever you find tears in your eyes, don't be afraid, my sunshine. Your tears are ammunition, so let them flow and then pat them dry. You are a warrior, born of iron, skin of steel plates, a heart of pure silk, and a mind that stays awake. But now listen, and listen very clearly. I won't always be here, my dear. One day I will have to return to the soil that molds me. But don't ever feel lonely. If ever there's an emptiness in your heart, then lift up your hands and speak to God. Amidst the challenges, there is a brightness. And I will teach you all I know of life's treasures so that you can wear them. An armor carved with morals and virtues is an armor indestructible. Now carry your mother's flame and remember the words I've given you. And should you bear a warrior like I, then tell them of the flame that burns beneath your chest. Tell them, my dear child. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks, Don, for having me. Thank you, guys. It's been lovely.
Let's give it up for Tamina Raleigh. That's probably not a bad thing. But anyway, for the stream, it's important that you can hear me. So yes, thank you. It was a great performance to me, and I really loved that. And we have just one more act on, but just wanted to do a little bit of a plug, a little bit about us. So Born Lippy is an event organisation that's been going for 3 years. We basically put on different events that showcase spoken word, live comedy and hip hop. And believe that those kind of three art forms, the wordy art forms, kind of like have a great cross-pollination of stuff. We've got a plethora of events coming up soon. We just wanted to plug a few of them. One is that we'll be going to be doing a stage at this year's Lindisfarne Festival. That's happening up in Northumberland on Beale Farm on the 3rd of September. We've got a stage with a variety of Scottish hip-hop and spoken word artists, including Stanley Odd, My Stiggy, and Neanderthal Bard. We have an event going on in Newcastle at the Alphabeti Theatre on the 10th of September, which is an event where we kind of take rappers who are used to kind of sort of mixing their stuff with DJs and things like that, but we bring in a live instrument. So we've got 3 MCs and a xylophone. So like we're just that kind of juxtaposition of kind of instruments that you don't expect with hip hop kind of taking to its truest essence, and that's happening on Friday the 10th of September. And finally also, just as a first really to plug, is on the Saturday the 18th at Gosforth Civic Theatre. We have Pete the Temp, who is like a bit of a national treasure in the spoken word scene, is coming up to perform his show from Homer to hip hop, which sort of like looks at the history of the idea of actually people getting on a mic and performing poems, as opposed to kind of the kind of often sometimes more middle class approach to poetry, which is that something that you just access by reading a book. And he shows that history, and it's going to be like a one-person show. But anyway, tickets for all of that will be available. If you want to find out more about information, do check out Born Lippy. We are Born Lippy NE on all sort of social media, as in Northeast. Born Lippy NE on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Do plug in all the stuff that's happening at the Streets Festival, Summer Streets Festival, by going to summerstreets.com, festival.com, where you can see all the different stuff that's being programmed right up till Monday the 19th, including the very own Born Lippy Slam, which is an adult event happening at Carnival House. That's this Monday coming. There's still tickets available for that. We're also still looking for some slammers. That is an 18+ event, but you can watch the live stream on social media. Anyway, plugs out of the way. Our next performer is a bit of a local legend. Believing that you weren't able to kind of make a job out of poetry in the way, you decided to become the world's first door-to-door poet. He's basically like the Avon lady, but with rhymes. He's also my partner in rhyme, someone who doesn't forget his poems like I do, and who is actually is basically done an amazing project, traveling up and down the UK, knocking on people's doors and basically just engaging in conversation with them. Upon finding an interest in them, he writes a poem with them, and an amazing story which I'm sure he'll tell us far better than me. Anyway, without further ado, let's give it up for Rowan McCabe!
Okay, this first one is about the issues. It's called Bald Man Buying a Banana. Bald man in the supermarket lifts up a bunch of bananas, inspects, puts them down, repeats. The bald man is not in a rush. The bald man is not stressed, but there's a lot of bananas on offer here. It would be wrong to just grab the first bunch that came along. He is weighing up his options, methodically, like a game of battleships. There is absolutely nothing interesting about this man. He is the very vision of ordinary. If I asked you to draw a picture of the word normal, this man would eventually stumble onto your page. In fact, right now, at this precise moment, 1 million bald men all over the globe are doing this exact same thing. Picking up bananas, considering them. I can see all of them now. 1 million individuals on 1 million identical screens, rewinding and replaying on repeat, picking up bananas, putting them down. Picking up bananas, putting them down, just like the fathers and their fathers' fathers, an endless fractal pattern of bald men buying bananas that stretches back through time. An act which is simple and perfect and eternal. Why have I never realized this is something I can hold on to? That no matter what goes horribly wrong, I'm only ever a few miles from a bald man buying a banana. In my ecstasy, I want to grab him, to squeeze his shoulder softly and say, bald man, I know what you're going through. It can be overwhelming. And what seems right at the time might never really ripen into something worth holding on to, but I just want you to know that I believe in you. Everyone in this supermarket believes in you. But I don't. I just stare at my reflection in the back of his head till he notices, grabs a bunch of bananas, and walks away. Thank you. Oh, cheers. I meant to, one thing I was going to do is I'm going to dedicate this to a bald-headed gentleman in the audience, and then I forgot to do that. What is your name over there, sir? Phil, that poem is for you. So it's lovely to be well done to everyone who is on so far. It's amazing to see so many great poets who, I've been doing this for like over 10 years now, and to any budding poets out there on the live stream and in the room, my advice would be, it's a snake pit out there. It gets harder and harder every year. The funding is less and less. And what's really frustrating is every year, younger, better poets come out, right? And they work really hard and they're really talented. And my advice to all of you would be to just stop, all right? Just stop it. Because you're making it too hard. No, well done. It's been lovely to hear everyone's stuff so far. I know some of you in this room already knows. Some of you I've never met before. I thought this might be a good opportunity to introduce myself properly. And I thought the best way of doing that would be to just read you a list of everything I hate. I thought if I did that, we'll just sort of get that out of the way. And then we all know where we stand, don't we? So this is a list of my least favorite things. It's called My Least Favorite Things. It goes with sincere apologies to Julie Andrews, and it goes like this. Hourly car alarms, internet trolls, dog turds on pavements, cheap aerosols, ring pulls that snap before opening the tin. These are a few of my least favorite things. flat pack home furniture with cryptic instructions, cheap vacuum cleaners without any suction, ill-informed relatives, strongly right-wing, all just a few of my least favorite things. Musicals, office chat, one-party states, tax returns, astroturf, left open gates, conspiracy theories, anything by Sting must go on the list of my least favorite things. Substandard sequels, those who jump queues, oceans of plastic, squeaky balloons, crumbs in the butter, holes in my shoes, chumocracy leaders with nothing to lose, coming out with no hair when you ask for a trim. These are a few of my least favorite things. In the sunshine, when I feel fine, in the local pub, it simply takes one of these things to occur, and then I don't feel so good. Cheers. This comes with a special, it was a special request from Don. He said, can you do something northeast-based for the show? And I thought, well, what is a better representation of the northeast than the stotty cake? It is, isn't it? Has everyone had a stotty before? Does everyone know what one is? Don't worry if you don't. There's no shame in it. We better just, make sure that everyone's on the same page. Put your hands up if you don't know what a stotty is. Oh, of course you do, definitely. Oh, so yeah, it is. It's like a giant. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's like a big, circular bun for anyone tuning in from somewhere else. I mean, the thing is, right? I was really shocked and horrified to learn that your main place you get them is Greg's, right? But you go into Greg's somewhere outside of the northeast. Don't know if you ever tried this. No stotties. No stotties, not in Scotland, not in London, no stotties. Tamina is absolutely horrified at this already. It's ridiculous, isn't it? I did a show, not just about stotties, but it was about the Northeast. It was at the Edinburgh Fringe. I had a mate who was a manager in a Greg's in Newcastle. You couldn't get stotties in Edinburgh, and I needed to give them out for reasons I won't go into, but I needed to give out a stotty at every show. There was 21 shows in a row, right? So it was like I either pack a massive suitcase with like 21 stotties, or would just try and figure out a way of us buying them from a local Greg's. And I even got the manager in the Newcastle Greg's to try and arrange it with one in Edinburgh, so they could just, because they've got trucks going up there all the time. It's like, can you not just whack a couple of stotties on the back of the truck and like send them up? They weren't having it. They wouldn't even have them crossing the border, right? So I thought this was ridiculous. I thought people need to know about the stotty. They're amazing. What can I do to try and boost the cred of the stotty? And the most obvious thing was to write a gangster rap about stotties. Okay, so I'm gonna share that with you now. All right, this is my rap about stotties. It's just called Stotty Rap. I never came up with a better name than that. It goes like this. Jimi Hendrix tried a stotty after playing guitar. Asked his manager to bring him a crate in his car, and to you and me that means it's the food of the gods. I fill my kegs when I see them in Greg's 2 for 1. I'm not discussing a bread bun or a seeded loaf. Those fake imitators don't even come close. Start a stotty off a car, it'll bounce right back, all intact, without even leaving a crack, like a spongy boomerang of elastic stuff. Your hand could never throw because it tastes too lush. Something like it with peas pudding or something that's been fried, or egg and mayo, but it doesn't matter what's inside, the polls have closed. The counting of votes has stopped. Stotty's the best thing since bread that's been sliced or not. The fresh smell hits you harder than a French bakery, more serene than the dream-like scenes of Amelie. Texture a cake baked and thick like a pillow, round like a wheel that's made of marshmallow. Forget any shame of a cringy mistake when you're munching on a stotty that's the size of your face. You're gonna be sad or you're mad, it's insane, like moving underwater cause you're sick of the rain. Feed one to your whippet, it'll gan like the clappers. Feed one to your nana, she'll gan raj like the flappers. If you want to catch a Geordie, just set this trap. You put a stotty on a fishing line and stand right back. So I'm going to carry on with this kind of northeasty theme now. I thought I'd share this one with you. slightly different approach to the last poem, maybe. It's definitely not a rap, anyway. Start of, what was it? It would be March 2020. There was a thing that the BBC did where they asked poets around the country to write responses to the pandemic, but it was all about what local communities were doing to try and help people. So I wrote this, and I don't know what put us in the mind to want to do it today. I know a lot has changed in the past year and a bit, but there was just something in it that made us kind of want to share it with you. So it's called Still. It goes like this. Past empty high streets and shuttered up shops, inside terrace buildings, up tower block heights, there's neighbours, now hidden, but working in tandem to fill in the spaces between every life. There's hands wrapping packages, bread buns and milk, colouring books, plant pots and seeds. They're cycled and driven by sparkies and teachers and placed at the doorstep of strangers in need. There's ears pressed to speakers for afternoon chat. There's dancing together through windows of flats. There's cards being written. Happy birthday. We'll miss you. We'll celebrate properly. Please get well soon. And on the estate, at 4:15, the tenants play bingo from out the front door. And the kids have thrown ribbons round tree trunks and walls and covered the pavement with rainbows and scrolls, and in kitchens and bedrooms all over the region, the songs being sung. And they all hold one meaning, that we're here and we care, and you're not on your own. No matter the distance, we share the same home. Cheers. It's occurred to us that you're probably really confused now, because Don was like, and he's a door-to-door poet, and he's done all this stuff where he went around the country knocking on doors, and I'm sure he's going to tell you all about it. I'm not going to tell you all about it, actually. I hadn't even considered the idea of doing it. Google it. It is out there. It's probably quicker than me explaining. It's a long story, to be honest. But yeah, there's a website if you're interested, doortodoorpoetry.com. It's got an explanation of what that is, and the story of everything that happened to us, and all the poems and everything like that. But yeah, I'm just gonna do some different poems for you. So there. And actually, on that strange note, that was my last one, and this is my last one even. So yeah. There it is, you know. What a shame. I've got one audible R there. I've got nothing else for you. There's nothing else in my head. That's it. So that's not even in the book. I mean, this is like, you know, it's got a few other things in, but this is terrible. I mean, what's this? It didn't seem like it was ever gonna end. No one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear that. I was gonna do one more. Could I do the Muckle one? I don't have it in my head. I didn't bring it. Oh, no. For another day. I feel like we're ending this on a disappointment now. I brought this down. I've brought this into a really dark place, haven't I? It's like, oh, no, I've got no poems. What am I going to... No, I'm going to leave you on this, and I'm going to go. It's been lovely to get up and show you some stuff. So I was quite lucky last year when the restrictions were sort of being lifted a bit. I got to go to the Lake District and do some walks that Wordsworth used to do. And the idea was that I would write some poems about the experience in a similar style to Wordsworth. And I was really excited. It was going to be like, it was really busy where I was living. And obviously, I'm sure you all appreciate, like, when you're in lockdown and everything, it's just like gets a bit stressful being surrounded by people. I thought, this is going to be great. I'm going to go out to the countryside. I'm going to commune with the mountains and the sky on a deep spiritual level. But it turned out that the Lake District was busier than it had ever been in recorded history. Because everybody had that idea, didn't they? Of course they did. You couldn't travel abroad, so there was only one thing you could do, which was evidently just to get yourself a B&B in Keswick, as it stood. There was just queues of people out of every sandwich shop and pub, which wasn't quite what I was expecting, but actually an interesting thing to experience anyway. So one day, my girlfriend, we went out and we climbed Helvellyn. And I'm going to leave you with a poem about that. It's called Helvellyn Post-Lockdown. I'm not sure what I was expecting. Seclusion, maybe. Away from the fear lingering round every corner of the city, but standing at its base. It's clear this mountain is busier than it's ever been in its 450 million year history. There's a queue for the top, an actual queue, an endless procession of waterproofs zigzagging to the top, multicolored ants twisting around the peak like sprinkles on a Mr. Whippy. It is packed. Christmas shopping packed, not the relaxing experience I had planned, and I might as well chuck that OS map I rushed the millets for. It's going to be a veritable conga line to the top, and I know it's antisocial to say, but I just wished I could have picked any other day. We'll find a place at the back of the queue. Take cubic rock after rock in time, keeping distance from those in front, stopping to let over-keen climbers squeeze past, overtake with an awkward thanks, then carry on. We'll pass them on a boulder later, the same climbers, catching their breath. When we stop for water, they overtake again. Soon we'll find ourselves in a rhythm of overtaking. I notice the same faces. The Stony couple on the eagle hunt. The older friends from Yorkshire, cracking wise, all banter. The family with a spaniel who spend the entire ascent discussing the benefits of carbohydrates. We'll pass each other again and again and again. It takes its toll. Near the top, I spot a lady, a head in her legs, dripping sweat. This will not beat me, she wheezes. I will not let this beat me. And it isn't. She rises, follows just behind till we reach the summit. A pilgrimage, 200 strong, saluting the sky. Clouds float beneath feet. Ravens dance midair. We'll watch the microscopic veils, the puddle of Lake Thermia, and I'm suddenly aware of how small we are. All 200 of us. Of how this place remains unchanged by any pandemic, unswayed by any recession. And if I was blown off the face of this mountain, the only thing left to prove I existed would be people. Would be these people. A man approaches. He's lost his OS map. He's unsure of the best way back. I don't feel scared about helping him anymore. In fact, right now, I don't feel scared of anything at all. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Let's give it up for Rowan McCabe!
Sad but apparently it's just a mood. I know the past 3 months don't mean a sound
So thank you very much for tuning into this great little show on the lovely sunny day out there. You've chosen not to go outside in what is a splendid tropical weather, but actually come into a venue and see live performances or tune in from your home, wherever you might be watching this on social media. So thank you for taking the time out. Let's give another round of applause for all the performers, for Isabella Wharton-Brown, for Pappy, for Ethan Gordon, Tamina Raleigh, and Rowan McCabe. I am Dole Jenkins, this is Born Lippy. Do check us out, do check out the Summer Streets Festival, and good afternoon.
Everything and nothing matters too much. 21 seems too young to be needing a crutch this time next year. Everything will have changed, 'cause nothing ever stays the same. It's our science to be Toxic misogyny, still haven't had a single apology. Chemistry, biology, toxic misogyny, still haven't had a single apology. Chemistry,